amazing how good I am at procrastinating. Like, I'm really good at it. Um, I waited over 2 weeks to make this video, and I have really no reason not to. I just keep not doing it. Um, so now that I've actually waited 2 weeks to make this video, I have two things I want to talk about. And the first thing that I just want to kind of call myself out on is that I did completely forget about my walkabout video that I was going to edit together. Yeah, sorry. I still plan on working on it and I still want to do it. I just literally forgot that I was going to do it and then I just never did. And I'm sorry. But look forward to that happening. Um, but yeah, so I had all the footage ready to go, and really, I mean, what happened was, and this is totally an excuse. I Around the same time that I wanted to work on that video, I was working on a video for my mom's birthday. And that video kind of took precedent because her birthday is on a specific day. So once that video was done, which her birthday was in January, I have no excuse for February at all. By like the third week of February, forgot that it was even a thing I was going to do. So, yes. Okay, so, yes, I did completely forget, and I still plan on doing it. I'm still going to work on it. And I'm sorry. The main thing that I wanted to do, the main video that I wanted to make, is that I'm fascinated by the concept of fame. And I put out a tweet, like I said, I think it was like a week or two ago, that basically asked, who do you think is more famous? John Green or Hosier? And what was fascinating to me the most about it was that a lot of the people that follow me, that are my friends, are nerd fighters. And so they all know who John Green is. And a lot of them don't know who Hosier is. However, I do feel like musicians are generally more well known and more people know Take Me to Church than they do The Fault in Our Stars. I don't know. Or at least who sings Take Me to Church versus who wrote The Fault in Our Stars. I mean, John has more Twitter followers, but John has like 4 million Twitter followers and he's not even on Twitter anymore. So, like, what's that? But it's just this concept of like what defines fame and what criteria do you use to define said fame? And is there like a difference if you are aware of the fandom or if you're not? So, like, how many, like, basically, the question being, like, how many people know that are aware of The Fault in Our Stars know about Nerdfighteria versus how many people that know Take Me to Church know, like real people do, which is like a lesser known Hosier song. And this is just such a fascinating concept to me that, like, what is fame? And who decides if somebody's famous or not? Because, like, a lot of people would say that Hosier's famous, yet all of my friends that are nerd fighters that only know about him through me wouldn't, because they don't know who he is. And the same is true for, all of the people that I've known through most of my life who didn't know who John Green was until I became a nerd fighter. Um, and it's, I guess, like, mainly my question is, what is the criteria? What's the definition? And what's the difference between, like, Tom Cruise and Dolly Parton and Hank Green? Um, or, like Tessa Violet. Like, what's the difference between somebody who has, like, a particular level of fame, but is not of the ages famous? And also, the other half of that is really fascinating is how many people don't know who Tom Cruise is. Like, you would pick him as, like, a celebrity who's like, everybody knows who that is, but, like, maybe not everybody does. And so it's something that's always interested me, and it's always something that fascinates me, because it's so, I love using this word, so I'm sorry if it doesn't entirely apply here, but it's so ethereal. Like, there's no exact formula. It's all just a matter of whether or not you know that person. Because there are lots of famous people that are famous that I'm like, who is this? And if I met them, I would just be like, hi, human being. Like, a pretty good example is Lauren Fairweather. I didn't follow her. Five Awesome Girls, I never really was in that. And I had the opportunity to meet her at NerdCon Nerdviteria. And when I met her, the context through my meeting of her was just human being to human being, parent to parent, because by that time she had at least one kid. I think she just has one kid. And I had two. And so she was like a new parent, and I was a somewhat established parent. And so majority of my conversations with her were just, hey, we are parents, and that is the thing that we have in common. And I understand she's not any particular level of fame, but she's more well known than I am. But it was just interesting because I didn't really know about, like, her work with the Harry Potter Alliance, and I forget the thing that happens in Florida. Maybe somebody can put it in the comments. The nerd concert, the Harry Potter concert that happens in Florida. I know, like, she was involved in that a lot. But anyway, I didn't know any of that when I met her. She was just introduced to me, and we hit it off that we were both parents, and so we talked about that. And I'm sure there's lots of people that have met John Green as, hey, I'm your neighbor, and let's be friends. Like, I don't know, but just that concept, that idea of just, like, I am also a person, but then, to somebody like me, like, meeting John Green is still one of my life goals. And I just, yeah, it's something that is so fascinating to me because it does not have a set rule. And who gets to decide these things, and who's in charge here? So basically, I think I forget now who won the Twitter poll. But I'll link it in the description of this video. And yeah, I think Hosier won. I think he did. But there again, I think that's because it's different mediums, and music is more accessible than books. So that's another aspect of it, like, is an author more famous than a musician just because, or vice versa, just because music is more accessible? and does that play into the fame of the individual? And part of the reason why John Green got so famous is because the movies of his books. Because there was, more accessibility to the Fault in Our Stars movie than necessarily to the books themselves. Although I know the books did sell very well. But anyway, it's just something I've been thinking about, something I've just been like toying around with in my brain that there's no set rules for, and it is something that has always been interesting to me, and it's always been something that I find it to be silly in a way, that we decide that certain people are famous and therefore harder to access, because really that's the big thing of fame. Like, to me, Lauren Fairweather was easy to access because I didn't know that she had any level of fame, and when Vlogbrothers was new, John and Hank were much easier to access. So really that's like the thing about fame, is it makes accessing that person harder, but then also we do feel like we're more entitled to accessing their lives, which is like the dark side of fame. And like, I did watch the Britney Spears documentary and how the paparazzi just kind of destroyed her mentally, because we, the people, felt like we were entitled to access every moment of her life. Personally, I didn't feel that way, but I know that there are people out there that do feel that way, and that, that's another aspect of fame, that's the scary part of fame. That's the part of fame that is like the reason I don't ever really want to become famous, because I would like to keep my life mine and share with people what I want them to know. And so for me, like, that's the part of fame that I definitely feel like is the least healthy, and is the least healthy. It's completely unhealthy. It's the scariest. It's the reason that John Green had to move. And it's like, I know something similar happened with Hosier, where his address was published publicly and he had stalkers, and it's like, that's the aspect of it that, it's like, okay, there's one thing in like being curious about a person and wanting to know certain aspects of their lives, but when you cross that line, that's where, for me, that's the main reason that, like, I'm totally fine with having like 200 subscribers for as long as I decide to do videos, or if I ever do end up publishing, which I will, to like probably publish under a pen name, because I'm very much into like my life being mine and not given to the world. The world can have my work, but my life is mine to keep. So fame, it's a monster, but it's a curious one. And that's kind of just been the main thing that took me 2 weeks to share and talk about, because I am so dang good at procrastinating. I need to do better. I really do need to do better with that. I mean, to be fair, we're in the middle of a pandemic, but still, there's no reason I can't just come into my room, like I'm in my room right now, and talk to my phone for however long. There's no reason. The only reason that is I just don't. I don't because I don't because I don't. And then when I don't, I don't. Yeah, so anyway, I hope you are all doing well, all things considered. I hope we are all able to get the vaccine soon. I know my mom's on the list and my stepfather's on the list. Is he my stepfather? Yeah. Father-in-law and stepfather. My brain confuses those two a lot. That's why I said that. And what else have you been up to? Anything interesting? Anything fascinating or super duper boring. Yeah, I'm curious how you are, how you're doing, and I hope that you are well. And um, I'm gonna try to do better at being more consistent. And I know that's just a thing. I know that's just a cliche, but like literally, I am going to try to be less procrastinating. Um, and hopefully get the walking video out soon. Hopefully I don't forget again. Gosh, I'm a mess, but I'm I'm doing okay. All right. So I guess my engagement question um is, how do you define fame, and what are your um I don't know, fears about fame? Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay, guys. Oh yeah, my hair is getting long. And I don't really know what to do with it right now, so I just kind of let it exist. Because this is like the most awkward stage for me. But yeah, this too shall pass, and then eventually it'll get longer, and then I'll have an undercut, and then I can put my hair back in a ponytail again, which is what I miss most of all. I hope you are well, and we will see what happens soon enough. All right, bye.